What's up, boys and girls? I hope everybody's having a great day. Today we're going to work on a 2011 BMW 328 Xi. It is the all-wheel drive model. This is what the car looks like if you're working on a car that's similar. It's a 328i xDrive, technically speaking. The car's complaining that it's got dirty transfer case oil. And now it is in limp mode because of that. So we're going to change out the transfer case fluid, reset the dirty fluid counter, reset the computer in it, and see what we've got. And the bad thing about it is this. If you look and see, this here is our drain plug for the transfer case. We can get to that, no problem. But our fill plug is way up in there. So the purpose of this video is to help you. Let me get my light mounted up here. This entire bracket has to come off. This bolt going through the transfer case that actually mounts that mount up to the transfer case has to come out. And to get that bracket off, we're going to have to remove all of the plastic skid shield in order to gain access to the bolts for that. So let's get to work. So I'm going to try to take you through this kind of step by step. The first thing I did was remove two 8mm bolts, or 8mm socket on the bolt. Two tiny screws with an 8mm socket, and then one nut with a 10mm, and then that lets me pull off this little access cover, and now we have access to our bolts for this little cross member mount. Next thing we'll do, start removing those. One thing I do want to mention before we get too far into this is that you are going to want to support the transfer case with either a jack if you're working on the ground, or if you're up on a lift, use some type of transmission jack or something along those lines, because once you start to remove this bracket, that bracket supports the transfer case. So that's going to put a lot of stress on the transmission and the entire drive line like that. So we want to be sure to carefully support the transfer case and make sure that we're not going to break anything. All right, so now we've got our jack in there. As you can see, we're doing this on a lift, so we've got tall jacks. We got a jack in there. We did take out all the bolts for the mount. We're not removing the mount completely because it's kind of a fight to get it out of there, and we don't need to take it out. We just need to get the fluid changed. So now that we've gained access to our fill plug, we can go ahead and crack this plug open. Always crack the fill plug before the drain plug in a situation like this where this stuff is super hard to get to, why? Because let's say you drain the fluid and then you don't have the right jack or something and you're at home and you're trying to do this, then you just drained all the fluid out of your transfer case and now the car's not safe to move. So always do the fill plug before the drain plug, especially in a situation like this. Let's get that cracked and go from there. So I did go ahead and remove the cross member brace / mount in order to get better clearance, because it was actually pretty easy to remove. And I did have to move my jack a little bit. So if you're doing this, maybe place your jack towards the left side, the driver's side of the transfer case, and just support it from there to begin with. We have our fill plug loose, as you can see. We've also cracked our drain plug. So now we should be able to do this and drain the transfer case. This transfer case doesn't even hold 1 quart of fluid. I think it's right around a half a quart or half a liter. And here in a minute I will show you exactly what type of fluid you need to put in it. Do not deviate from the exact fluid that it needs to take. This is a BMW. Let's put the right fluid in it. This is the transfer case fluid that you're going to want to use for the transfer case. I know that it says transmission fluid on it. We got this from a website called FCP Euro. That's the best place to get stuff for any European cars other than the dealership. So in a case like this, a lot of the time we call the dealership first. They tell us some ridiculous price. And if the price is too ridiculous and it doesn't make sense, then we'll get it from FCP Euro. Do not try to get stuff like this from AutoZone for European cars. It does not work. They do not have the right stuff, and you will tear up your car. Now we've already got our fluid change done. I did not film it because we don't have enough hands for that. It's just a matter of draining it and then putting your drain plug back in and filling it until fluid starts to run out here. You can see where the fluid on ours has run out there. Then you just tighten your plugs up, wipe everything up, clean it up real good with brake clean, and reverse everything that you've just done. So put it all back together, then go in the computer and clear the counters for dirty fluid, clear the transfer case module of any trouble codes that it has. And that's all there is to it. We've got our 2011 328i xDrive all-wheel drive transfer case fluid changed. This is what it should look like when you're done. Get all your skid plates back in place. Man, this car is dirty underneath. I tell you what, if this was my car, it wouldn't be looking like this underneath here. But yeah, that's what it should all look like. Clean all your work up. Make sure that you've got no leaks. And you should be good to go. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hit that like and subscribe button for me if you don't mind. It helps us out. And in the future, we'll talk more about this.